In this tutorial, we will create a very simple 3D printing toolpath for universal robots. And we will simply create horizontal slices through this three-dimensional shape that is created by lofting two curves. And this is a very simple tutorial. We will have a look at how we can get these slices with the contour component. We will have a look at converting them into robot toolpaths and targets. And we will also insert digital output commands at the start and the end of our printing toolpath to activate and deactivate an extruder. As always, you can find the full Grasshopper script in the link in the description. But if you want to actually understand the entire definition and adjust it to suit your own project, you should follow along with this tutorial and really understand what is going on and how you can make the changes that are necessary for your project. So we're starting where we left off in the last video, where we created these planes on a 3D surface. Just to orient ourselves, we have our axis starting configuration right here, where we set the joints at the start of our program. And we also create a tool definition right here. If you have not set this up in your own Grasshopper definition, you should go back to the previous tutorials and set it up, or download the definition in the description below. So let's delete all of the components that created these 3D shapes and planes. And I will also delete the retract group. And let's start to create our geometry and slice it. So in Rhino, I will simply create a control point curve to create some arbitrary shape. I will then copy that shape, move it in Z direction, and reference it in Grasshopper. And to do that, I will simply go into the params, choose two curve params, and simply set one curve, first the bottom one, and then set one curve, the top one. And then I will merge both of these into one group, and we can do that under set tree merge. And then I will loft both of these curves into one three-dimensional shape. For this tutorial, we're simply creating flat shapes. We're not doing any non-planar stuff, so make sure both of these curves are planar and coplanar to each other. All right, now in order to slice it, we are using the contour component that you can find in the intersection tab. Make sure that you're using the contour component and not contour X, but the simple contour component. And we simply use our loft as the shape, and we add a distance. I will add a number slider that simply goes from 0 to 10. Depending on the process, depending on what you're printing, you'll probably have smaller layers than 10 millimeters, but it's always good to start with a very rough or very coarse slicing distance. And then get finer later, simply because we're creating a lot of geometry here, and your Grasshopper definition will slow down. So start with a high number, and then later on you can always go lower and increase the amount of geometry and increase the amount of layers by decreasing the distance between them. All right, now we got our slicing curves, but of course we want planes to create the robot targets, and we will do the same process as we've done before, that uses a conversion to a polyline. So we're using the curve to polyline component to create polylines from each of these curves. We set a tolerance. In this case, it's 0.5 millimeters to make sure this polyline is close to our original curves. And then we can use the control points component to get the points on this polyline. As a reminder, we're doing it in this way and not by using any of the other division functions in Grasshopper, in order to create just the right amount of points that we need. And you can see in areas where there's a lot of curvature, like right here, we have a lot of points. And in areas where there's not a lot of curvature, where we basically have straight lines, we don't have any points. So we have just the right amount of points to keep the tolerance that we set right here, but we don't have as many points as to basically overload both Grasshopper and also later on the robot program. Now that we have our points, we create planes. We do this by selecting XY planes in the vector tab. We then make sure that we flip these planes in order for the z-axis to point downwards. And now we have the planes that we can use as the basis for our robot toolpath. Let me reduce the size of the planes just to make it a bit less cluttered. All right, so I could add these right here, and we can already see what the robot will do. Just to make this clear, I simply have this rotate plane component right here that we could use to rotate these planes as we've done in previous tutorials. And then it goes together into a create target component that then merges with the start configuration to create our program. Now that we have so many points in our robot toolpath, it's actually quite difficult to scrub through the entire toolpath with the number slider, because every tiny change in the number slider basically skips dozens of toolpath points. So it's actually quite difficult to see what's going on, or to see different points, or see specific points in our toolpath. You can always hold Command on a Mac or Control on Windows to make the scrubbing in the number slider more precise. But we also have this very handy playback function in the program simulation that we can use to see how the robot is moving, and to actually move slowly through each and every one of the individual toolpath points. We now have created all of the targets that we need for this printing toolpath. However, we do want to have a robot action or a robot command that actually activates or deactivates our extrusion setup. So depending on how you created your extruder and how it's wired to the robot, this step might be a bit different for you, but I still want to give you an insight on how to actually use the robot program itself to activate and deactivate extruders, and not having to do that yourself or manually having to do that. We do this by adding a command to our robot targets. We have this command input right here in the create target component. If you don't have this input, you can right click and select the command input from the list, and it should pop up. And imagine, for example, you have your extruder simply wired to a digital output of the robot. So a digital output is just a simple off and on switch that the robot can trigger programmatically. And so what we can do is to go into the robots program, robots plugin components, and all the way to the left, we can see the set digital output component. If you had it wired differently, if you had, for example, some sort of motor or some sort of plugin or UR cap that you're using to control your extruder, you might need a different command. You can either set an analog output, you could use a custom command, or something else, something like a modbus command. But for now, we will keep it simple and simply use the set DO, set digital output. We will add it here. And so let's say we are wired to digital output number 1, and we want to set the value of the digital output to true. And in our case, that would be the activation of our extruder. We now added this to each target of our toolpath. So if we go into the robot program code, we will see that we have this set digital output command that sets output number 1 to true after each and every single motion command. This might work, but it's a bit unnecessary. We have a lot of program lines that are basically unnecessary, because usually we only need one line to activate the extruder and then one line to deactivate it. We shouldn't continually set this digital output to true. For most programs, this wouldn't be an issue, but if you have 100,000 points, having 100,000 additional lines for the digital output actually adds a lot to the program size, and you might run into issues later on. So in order to do this differently, and in order to actually just activate and deactivate once, we will take the planes we've created and get the first and last one, and only add our extrusion command to these single items. So I add a list item component, and I will then add the last item of a list by clicking this plus sign at the top of the list item component. And now I can add my list right here. And I now have my first item and also my last item of our list of planes. And this is what we will use to create our targets. So we will simply copy the create target component that we have right here. And then first of all, we will use the first one. So item number 0 as the one up top, and the item at index -1, so the last item down here. The last item, of course, gets a Boolean false to actually deactivate our extruder. And the first item still has the Boolean toggle set to true. But of course, now we only have 2 items, or in our case, it's 1 item per slice. But we want to, of course, have all of the planes of our toolpath. And so we copy the create target component again, make sure that we disconnect our commands so that we don't have any commands for these values, and simply add all of our planes right here. We then use a merge component that you can find in the tree section of the set tab. We use it to merge our first target, the one that has the set digital output to true. We then add all of our normal targets, and then we set our last target that deactivates it. If you've been paying attention, you will recognize that we've basically duplicated the first and last item, which is perfectly fine for the process as it stands right now. But if you wanted to, you could also cull the first and last item from our list of general targets. And now we can add this right here. And if we have a look at our program, we can see we have all of our motion commands, and then only the very last one has the set digital output 1 to false to deactivate the extrusion. And this happens on every layer change. So right here we have the end of one layer, then it's set digital out to false. Then we move to the next layer, we set digital output 1 to true, and then we start printing. And this doubling, so this first point being the same, is usually not an issue. This way of adding commands to the first and last items of a list is just in general a very good way of adding extra information or adding extra functionality. You often want to trigger something, or you might just want to add a text message that I've shown you in a different video, where you can maybe send something to the log, for example, to simply tell the log, hey, layer so-and-so is finished. And we have a lot of flexibility this way, and we don't need to add a command to each and every target, and only the targets that we actually want to. So that's it for this tutorial. We created this very simple contour slice of 2 coplanar shapes, and then we added them to our program. We used the playback function to watch the entire toolpath and to see the entire toolpath. As you can see, there's some issues here. The robot is actually colliding with itself, so this would be a good point to correct that. But we also added custom commands, or in this case, set digital output commands to activate and deactivate extruders. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment, and you can find the file and all the additional information in the description below.